Hello, this is London Silver. Sorry if there's any background. I'm in front of my fan, and it's hot. So, yeah. Okay, we're going to start with the headcanons, and then we're going to move on to the story. Also, this is what if Deku was the prince of the Underground Kingdom, Thouryth. So, that's the official name. Like, my official name, not actually, like... Okay, let's just get on to this. Izuku's hair is a combination of Ranbu's white side of his hair and Tommy's blonde hair, but nothing from Tebo's hair. Izuku has eyes that are a combination of Tommy and Tebo's eyes, with Tommy's being a light blue, and Tebo's being cyan, kind of blue. Izuku's hair goes to the back and a little bit more downer. And Tommy likes to braid and brush it. Ranbu has a locket of all 5 of them all together, and I did not miss to say that, 5. All 3 of them look at Izuku as their son, but Bee and Boo do not see Tommy as a significant other, and Tommy doesn't see them as a significant other, but Izuku sees them all as father figures. So, yeah. Izuku has all 4 abilities of the founders. Also, if y'all don't get on that, I'm going to have to do that myself, and I really don't want to do that because I want to give y'all at least a option to, like, have a sort of choice in the matter of who gets what power, because I like to include you guys in my what-ifs. And honestly, I have no idea what the fuck am I supposed to give them. So, yeah. Let's see. Izuku has a special connection with dragons and can tame them very easily. Izuku can make 3 weapons at will, and whatever weapons he wants, he can choose to 1, 2, or 3, so yeah. Also, they can have the powers of the founders. When Izuku was a baby, Tommy would be the one to take care of him, but he didn't get his profanity and never caught on, but Tommy would be more mellow and calm, and would carry him everywhere because, in his words, because why the hell not? Tebo likes to bring Izuku to the shops once in a while to buy whatever he wants, but not anything that would hurt him. Michael is older than Izuku, because it's my what if. Also, Michael is Izuku's brother. Izuku likes playing with the young dragons and will sleep with them if he is allowed to. Izuku has his own library. Izuku has full access to the vault, only because the protector which is a dragon, is sort of like his pet. Izuku is super close with Michael and does everything with Michael, and literally includes him with everything he does. Izuku has a necklace that has Michael holding him as a baby, and Michael smiling. Izuku can turn his legs into goat legs and climb stuff like Spider-Man, but most likely like a mountain goat, that are able to scale flat surfaces and small edges and use them to go around the cave. When he doesn't use them, he uses a boat. Izuku has black and white birthmarks around his body, which aren't visible if he has most of his clothes on, which he usually has, like, long sleeves and, like, pants, you know? Izuku's unaware of the Dream SMP and anything that went on. Only small details being given to him when, like, it's about, like, his, like, dad's. When he's mad, he has a personality of a badger on child support. Izuku likes to go to the training grounds just to visit the young dragons there. Izuku has a serious obsession with fire. He likes to be near it and hear the fire crackle and die out, especially likes to go to the forge and stare at the fire at the forge. Izuku likes to use the mushrooms at the bottom of the caves as umbrellas or just to chill under them. Okay, now let's do this. Izuku's POV, because usually it's Izuku's POV. Okay, let me get comfortable real quick. My name is Ray Darius, but you can call me Izuku. I'm the second prince of Thouryth. My elder brother, Michael, but he's adopted of King Ranbu and King Tebo, but the uncle of King Tommy, which is kind of confusing, but I consider all 3 of them my parents. I like King Tommy because he lets me visit wherever I want in the cave. I have features from all three of them. I have platinum hair, and that goes a little bit down my back. Platinum blonde hair. I hope you all heard that. And pointed ears. My older brother tells me stories about the surface, about he was kidnapped by a creeper man, and told me about seasons like winter, where something that was called snow that came raining from the opening of the cave on the ceiling. And Michael says it's not that bad up there. You just have to go be with the right people, and Dad's weren't with the right people, so they ran away and discovered the kingdom. I was amazed by the stories he told and his experience with the surface, and Dad's even brought me up there when I was born, but until I am 14 years old, then I can go and see the surface for the second time in my life. I was astounded by the surface and just wanted to go again. This place, where I call my home, was a place of fantasy, and anyone would love to live and spend their days, but I've lived here my whole life, and it's getting to me. I want to explore the outside, but maybe not too soon. I live in the castle where... Ow. Sorry about that. My neck hurts. Okay. I live in the castle where the Nether Star is, but my room is in one of the towers, and I share a room with my brother. It's nice, but today we're going to the surface, even though I'm not 14 yet. I'm a bit confused, but I think it's important, so this will be the second time I will actually remember. Rambo, then went to the treasury that was close to the bottom of the cave, and we were met with the biggest dragon we have in the kingdom, and it bowed before making way for Dadboo. He went up the black stairs and grabbed a large bag in the vault, and while he was doing that, Michael and I were playing with the dragon, and then we went to the entrance. The opening of the cave was like the sun and blinded my eyes. I felt the warmth of the sun beating down on me. I then felt wind crashing onto me, swaying my hair in the wind like vines hanging from the ceiling of the cave. We then walked into a plane that held Father, and I held Father in its hands. We're shaking a bit. Okay, I don't think I explained that. We walked into an open plane, and I held Father in its hand. His hands were shaking a bit, and I held it tighter before he patted me on the head and continued to go forward. Before long, we made it to this big town, or what Father in it called it, an empire, or a kingdom like ours. It was filled with people, and the buildings were high, but not bigger than the cave. There were shops and was filled with goods, but we went to a building that was big, and all three of them were talking with some people, and were being serious, but they're almost never serious. Dadboo then puts the bag on the table, and the other people give Dadboo a bit of coins that kind of look like our money, but not the same. And he then looked at them mad, and I was getting worried. But then Dadboo smiled at me and gave me and Michael a pat on our heads. It was comforting. And then Dadboo turned back to the people with a deep voice that was kind of scary, but Papa Bo, or Tubbo, comforted us with a hug, and then played with us for a bit. And I continued to listen to the conversation, but soon drowning out with playing with Papa Bo. Okay, Rambo's POV. 1 second, sorry. One of the people that I was talking to then said, "Your Majesty, King Rambo, it must have been a mistake. Do forgive us for not giving you the right amount of payment for the materials you so graciously gave us. Out of kindness of your heart, we shall get the rest, so do please wait. Let one of our staff explain the situation for why we need them." He looked around himself frantically, then pointing to a young girl who looked a bit older than Ray. Right now, Izuku's like 12 and Michael's like 14. That was not paying attention due to doing something else. And then he said, "She shall explain. Do not worry, she is very mature for her age, so do excuse me." He then walked out of the room. Then the woman the young lady walked up to me with a bit of a stutter and said, "Hello, Your Majesty Rambu. My name is Melissa Shields. I will explain our situation." I smiled and said, "Hello, little miss. Just call me Rambu. So, would you explain, please?" She seemed a bit more calm and said, "Oh, okay. Well, in the past couple of years, we discovered your kingdom out of coincidence, so we made an alliance with you to not make any more enemies than we had at the time, and we made a deal that we would give you protection, money, and information on the outside world, and in return, your kingdom would give our kingdom a small portion of your minerals and materials. But of course, so we have not discovered the full extent or full power of the minerals, but with some guidance from yourself and the other two lords, the other two majesties, we are able to make strong weapons. But recently we have requested for the glowing crystals and the dragons you have attained, but you have denied, and we have recently threatened you and have returned the threat with cutting off our deal and alliance, and to form an alliance with our enemy that we've been clashing for 2 years. So we have stopped in hopes to mend our relationship." She looked up at me and with a slight hint of irritation in her neck, because myself being 8'5", and said, "I think it sums it up, correct?" I pat her on her head and say, "Yes, it does. You are very smart for someone your age, young lady," I say with a smile, and she smiles back. And she says, But I do have a question, with all due respect, Mr. Rambu." I say, "What may that be?" She then says, "You have called King Tubbo, His Majesty Tubbo, your husband, but King Tommy, Lord Tubbo, and King Rambu rule together. So are you all married, or no?" I sigh and say, "Please, just call me Rambu, and me and King His Majesty Tubbo are married, but King Tommy is not married, but I and Tubbo have a son, and he's the uncle to Tommy, but we made a child with magic, and he's considered all his fathers." She then looks confused, and I say, "Don't think about it too much. Besides, why are you all here with all the adults? Are you the daughter of one of them?" She then says, "Yes, I'm the daughter of David Shields. He's the head researcher of the kingdom, but unlike him, I don't have a quirk, and I have a very small amount of magic." Quick side note. Magic and quirks are two different things. Quirks you get at the age of 4 and may or may not get, and magic is something you are born with and for sure can have and can choose which magic you want. But if you have low magic, you can't do low tier spells or only low tier spells. And if you have high magic, you can do almost anything. Okay, let's get back to the story. She looks at the ground with shame, and I bent down and patted her shoulder and said, "There's no need to feel ashamed. You can still do many things, even if you don't have a quirk or magic. You still have your smarts to help you. I'm sure you will just be as smart as your dad." I smiled, and she hugged me and said, "Thank you, Your Majesty. I mean, Mr. Rambu. Thank you." She started cheering up, and I took out a handkerchief and wiped her tears and reassured her. The man then came back with a large bag and said, "Hello again, Your Majesty, King Rambu. I hope she was good to you. Here's the 500 gold coins. I hope this is enough." I look down at the man and say, "This will be enough," in a cold tone, and give 3 of them to Melissa and say, "Here you go, little miss. I hope to see you again. And this is a formal invitation to Thouryth. I hope to see you there, Lady Melissa." A letter forms in my hand, and I hand it to her with a smile, and I say to Tubbo, "We're done here." I then pick up Ray and put him on my shoulders and say, "Now let's go." The others follow me and walk out. Melissa's POV. Did His Majesty King Rambu just give me an invite? But they are a sheltered kingdom that doesn't even let the king of my own kingdom visit them. But I, who was by coincidence given one, I held it by my chest and congratulated myself for getting to know one of the most powerful kingdoms in the world. But the boss of the building then said, "Give it here, brat." He tried to swipe it away from me, and I backed away and yelled, "No! Mr. Ranboo gave this to me." He then yelled, "How dare you call his lord by his first name with no formality?" I then yelled back, "He told me to call him that, and I will." I then ran downstairs to go find my father and tell him the news, and maybe he could go with me. I was filled with excitement and yelled, "Dad, Dad!" He was working on something, but then put it down and looked back at me and said, "Yes, dear?" I yelled, I got an invitation from Thouryth." To be continued. Okay, this is the end. Hope you liked it. And do come up with some ideas for the powers. So, yeah. Also, if you haven't seen the teaser, then you probably won't get, like, the founders and stuff. So, I advise you go to the teaser for the Underground Kingdom. So, this is Lemon Sofa. Have a good day. Have a good noon, night, whatever the hell you are. Have a good one.